Today's presentation I'm going to do is the enslavement of Latin American and the Caribbean people. The topic argument are does slave how does slavery treat differently in the Caribbean and Latin American? In the Caribbean, and men and women became house slaves that were involved in domestic activities like cooking and cleaning. The group of house enslaved were to breed apart, and the class division were between women who were activity active did household labor, according to Red Rock. Ready? Um, in the Caribbean, men and women became house slaves that were involved to in domestic activity like cooking and cleaning. The group of house enslaved were to breed apart, and the class division between women were active did house labor, according to Red Rock. Moreover, women that were enslaved participate in the field work that were similar to men's life to 5 years than men. Therefore, women who are enslaved are often as important as productive laborers as men. So, a bit. In and and authorities took extra precaution for identity each slaves for cause of a legal restriction of the limitations of slave work. Red Rock explains that male slaves have wanted range, and then slave females were to combine to find field hands. Whoa, yeah. For yes. Um, there are in Brazil there are implication of the contract restrictions to the residents. The authorities took extra precaution for identify each slave because of the legal restriction of the limitation of slave workforce. Ramos has explained the number of days that slave missed by working was due to sickness, death, or escape. The data has been escalated. In conclusion, I'm sorry, I've been ahead to myself. The number of days, I'm sorry, 1 second. In Barbados, slavery, slave master decide if how much punishment a slave can get for being disciplined for their masters. And and slave are often escape from their master by convincing them in person or indirect indicate and left the island for good. Since since slaves has often escaped the island, they made a law for slaves often an offense, their punishment by murder, rape, and conspiracy to revolt. In conclusion, Latin America, Latin American have different approach when it comes to slave by carefully carry, removing the slave identities and make sure they are all lined up. As for the Caribbeans and the Barbados, they were being punished by escaping a lot due to sickness, and their punishment were murder, rape, and conspiracy revulsion. And this is the biography of the three academics and other sources, photos, pictures, and so on.